Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon, and wow, this is kind of embarrassing. IGN laid off a bunch of their video game journalists hours before the Video Game Awards, the Game Awards tonight. It was going to live stream. That's something you'd think they'd cover right at IGN, but they laid a bunch of people off. We're going to talk about this. This doesn't surprise me at all. We've been covering how media is laying people off like crazy. CNN's laying people off, Vice is laying people off, BuzzFeed's laying people off, and gaming journos have been hit hard even before all the other media outlets began laying people off. In fact, there was a video we did earlier this year talking about an article saying that video game journalism is imploding, that esports journalism is imploding. Oh my God, because it's a non-essential. Video game journalism is not trusted by most gamers anymore, at least a lot of these websites, IGN being one of them. And yeah, the numbers aren't there. The eyeballs aren't there. The ad revenue's not there. And neither are these journos. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We are at almost 283,000 subs. We do run clownshishtv.com, which also has video game news on it. And yes, all of our writers are employed still. We don't have nearly as many as IGN. It's funny. I think the New York Times is probably going to cut loose a bunch of people too. There's like 1,000 people going on strike at the New York Times. They're going to be like, yeah, we don't need all you guys. It's going to be really bad for journalists, digital journalists, especially going into next year. And I'm not sitting here trying to tap dance on anyone's grave. I'm not, but video game journos have been controversial for a while, at least the last 8 or 10 years. Pop culture journos, same thing, because you have a lot of people that are slacktivists, activists that, work their way into positions at these supposedly fan-run, fan-owned companies, trying to get themselves gigs, working in the video game industry or working in comics or working in the anime industry or whatever, and they bring their hot takes with them. And, they tend to spend a lot of time attacking fans, attacking video games for being problematic. And, I remember back in the day, now this is Ziff Davis, which owned EGM. And I remember back in the day that EGM was strictly about just reviewing video games and talking about the new hardware that was coming out. They had some jokes in there. They had lots of interviews. It was a solid magazine. That was video game journalism. And now it's like, which video game character is problematic today? What's the gender identity of Princess Peach? Who knows? Stupid stuff like that. Toxic gamers. This is coming from Kotaku. This is kind of like them writing their own obituary, right? Because Kotaku laid some people off. And I think they're going to lay off a bunch more people before it's all said and done. IGN lays off some staffers right before the Game Awards. The largest gaming news publication has cut people across multiple departments. IGN, the biggest gaming news outlet in the world, laid off multiple staff members today, according to tweets from current and former staffers. I'm going to go out to some of those. Kotaku was able to confirm from a current IGN employee that at least 10 people were let go, 3 of whom were from engineering. It's interesting. GamesIndustry.biz reported that these cuts across content engineering and ad sales are part of a larger restructuring across Ziff Davis, the digital media company that owns IGN. I think that restructuring is going to involve a lot more people getting laid off, possibly websites getting consolidated, possibly websites getting sold off. It's ghastly that people are losing their jobs literally weeks before the winter holiday. But even from a cold business standpoint, it seems odd to lay off staff right before one of the biggest industry events of the year. Covering the Game Awards is already a Herculean task. I imagine it's much harder shortly after a newsroom loses multiple colleagues. Or maybe they don't get that much traffic off of the Game Awards. That could be too. Maybe it just doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. People are probably going to IGN looking for game reviews or looking for cheat codes or whatever. That could be what's going on. Because if they knew they were going to make money off of these people, they would have kept them around a little bit longer. Kotaku reached out to IGN for comment about the extent of the layoffs, did not receive a response. They're your competition. You actually expected them to receive or expected them to give you a response. The layoffs came unexpectedly, according to one video producer who lost his job. I feel especially stupid because I was working on next-gen console watch until 2 a.m. yesterday, working to make sure nothing slipped through the cracks, like art requests or anything. Next Gen Console Watch is an IGN video series in which guests discuss news and rumors about PS5 and Xbox. 2022 has been an awful year for media layoffs. Gaming news website Polygon was among the Vox Media properties affected by layoffs this summer. Gaming talk show G4 suffered dozens of job cuts in September, and a day later, Tencent fired several Fanbyte employees. G4 completely shut down because it was a money-losing operation. I think the corporate owners of these video game news outlets are starting to realize that they're not going to make money off of these websites, not like they were before. And I really do believe that the audience has transitioned to listening to independent voices, listening to independent blogs, gaming blogs, and not going to the IGNs anymore, not going to the Polygons and the Kotakus. Now, this is Rebecca Valentine, who works at IGN, presumably. And here's the thing. I'm blocked. I don't know why I'm blocked. I don't think I've ever interacted with Rebecca, but I have dunked on journos losing their jobs, being a journo myself, and having made a job for myself. My wife and I actually have made jobs for ourselves. You can do it too. Just don't be a dick. Well, actually, you can be a dick and make a lot of money. Imagine that. Rebecca Valentine, please send love to the IGN folks impacted today. My colleagues were and are incredible and did not deserve it. I've been laid off before. Nobody deserves it. It's usually the result of poor company decisions, but also you or your department is not bringing the company enough revenue for whatever reason. Still don't know who's impacted, effed. I'm safe. Many of my coworkers are not. Explain to me like I'm five why you, an expert in these things, think the layoffs were justified or that layoffs happen everywhere. They do. Or other ignorant shit remarks about my colleagues is an instant block. Well, I was blocked before I made any comments. I didn't even know this happened. No patience for this today or ever. Be kind or fuck off. As kind as IGN journos are to other people, and Polygon journos are to other people, and Kotaku journos are to other people. So here's the thing. It's not just IGN. It's not just video game websites. Again, CNN is getting disemboweled. Vice is laying people off. BuzzFeed laid off 12% of their staff. The reason being the ad revenue is running out. And these sites were bankrolled by ad revenue and venture capital. And now is a really good time to take a good hard look at all of your media outlets and decide if you need as many writers as you've got on staff. How many views are these writers bringing you? How much money are they making you? You can go into your dashboard and you can see, hey, this person who we're paying $75,000 to $100,000 a year to keep on staff, yeah, they're not bringing any views. They're not even paying for themselves. It's an easy cut, right? And that's basically what's going to happen. And everybody's laying off. In a more perfect world, you could be like, you know what? Let's not lay people off until after Christmas. In fact, I worked at a job one time. I worked at a gym years and years ago where they brought a guy in. He was supposed to be the manager of the gym. He was not going to work out. Obviously, he wasn't a bad guy, but he just was. There was a personality clash, and his 90 days came up right before Christmas. And I was like, please don't fire this guy before Christmas. That really sucks. But he went out and bought a house, and he was going to move and all this stuff. And I'm like, anymore, you can't trust these corporations to do right by their people, right? But it makes it very easy. It makes it very easy to cut when things aren't great. I mean, Washington Post lost 500,000 subscribers since Biden took office. Yeah, because you can't spend all your time railing against Trump when he's not in office anymore. And a lot of these video game journos were using the platform for politics, and they were getting hits for a while, and now it's running out, and the gamers have moved on. Actual gamers have moved on to other media. They don't even look at Kotaku and IGN and Polygon as being legit video game news sources anymore, I don't think. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this one up. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.